Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's time for the next round of my Building Every House I've Ever Lived In challenge. So I'm gonna get right into it here. So here I am just building like the exterior of the house. Yeah, this was a house that I lived in with my mom and my stepdad like right before they got married, and then like for like a couple years after they got married, like maybe 1 year after they got married. So I have such happy memories in this house because obviously we spent so much time, just the three of us all together. And yeah, I was really excited to like go back and recreate this. Oh my gosh, roofing is such a struggle for me. Oh yeah, so this is me putting the garage together. I wish that the game had real garages. I think that would help so much with realistic building. Like even if we didn't have functional cars in the game, like I don't really care about that, but just maybe even cars that just functioned as objects so we could use them in builds, that would be so cool. But yeah, that's just me putting in the basketball hoop. I did play basketball not very well in middle school and elementary school, and my stepdad spent a lot of time with me out there trying to teach me how to be better at basketball, which wasn't necessarily the most successful, but we did have a lot of fun. So yeah, now I'm just doing the windows. I was really proud of the way that this house came together. This is our little sunroom in the back. Yeah, so there's that little like sliver room over there. I was trying to do something a little bit different with that. I was trying to do the basement, and I don't know why I was having so much trouble getting the basement to work. It was like every time I would try to do it, it was saying that I was out of bounds of the lot, and eventually I was just like, fine, I'm just scrapping the basement. It'll give me more room in the living room anyway. But I was so frustrated about that. So that was why that didn't work. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had that happen. Like I said, going into this series, I'm not an expert builder by any means. And part of the reason I wanted to do this was to, get better at building and like learn things about it. Oh, I was excited about this chimney too. I was excited about the chimney and the garage and the sunroom. Those were probably like the parts of the house I was the most excited about. But I was excited about the exterior of it because I think it looks like a real house. Like it looks like it could be a real house. Yeah, I was excited about that. And then I ended up just sizing this thing down there like that. Yeah, and then this is me working on the, we probably just called it like the family, like the living room or the family room or something like that. But I guess technically this would be like the den. And it was like right when you came in from the garage, which was how we would come into the house mostly. And I remember that was where I would go a lot of times, like after school, I would get a snack and sit there and watch, I would watch Gilmore Girls a lot, just kind of whatever was on like ABC Family when I would come home from school. So I spent a lot of time hanging out in there. Yeah, I don't know that the furniture was super realistic to what our furniture looked like in there. To be honest with you, I don't remember what that couch was. I feel like it wasn't beige like that, but I kind of just wanted it to like have the same vibe that the room had, which was just kind of cozy. And then, okay, this is me starting to get into the sunroom, which we didn't use a ton, but I remember reading out there a lot. I absolutely loved reading out there. I have like a distinct memory of sitting out there and reading the Twilight books. So that was where I was in my life when we lived in this house. I was very into the Twilight series. But yeah, it was just a nice room that obviously got a lot of light with all those windows. Oh my gosh, and I turned up the graphics on my game. I wish I could turn them all the way up, but it just lags so much. Someday I would love to get like a gaming computer so I could have the graphics be as high as possible, but I did turn them up like a couple notches, and I feel like now I get that light reflection on the floor, which I love so much. It makes such a difference. And yeah, I do think that it made a difference with how this video came together, having the graphics just slightly higher. Okay, so for the kitchen, I'm sure if my mom and my dad are watching this, they're gonna be like, that's not how the kitchen was. I did change the kitchen a little bit. So in real life, behind the stairs there was a doorway and you could go out into that hallway that way. And I think that there was a wall on the far side of the kitchen, like opposite from the window. I think there was a little bit more of a wall there. I think there was a doorway, but it's The Sims. I wanted it to be like functional in the game, and I you know, I just wanted it to have the most usable space and not have it too blocked off. So I did decide to set it up this way, but I do think it works. And generally that was where the kitchen was in the house. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm still getting used to the whole voiceover thing. Yeah, I definitely went through and found some clutter items. That knife block, we literally had that knife block. We still have that knife block in our kitchen right now. Like that is I think that's one of the most realistic items in the entire game, that knife block. And those cookbooks that, like the checkered, like red and white plaid one, that looks like the Better Homes and Garden cookbook that my mom has. Okay, so this is the dining area, and I have so many memories here. And again, in the real house, I believe that was a little bit more closed off and a little bit less open. But we used to sit there and we would play cards all the time. That was so much fun. We'd play Rummy 500. That was like our game that we would play, and my parents still play that all the time. So I have such happy memories in that area of the house. And we have a little hutch like that, that I kind of used those two stands to make. Okay, so this is me. I think this is maybe not yet, but eventually I do decide to scrap that little hallway. But that is where you would go downstairs into the basement, which I really did want to include because my stepdad did a lot of work down there, and he made it like a really cool area. And he had like his drum set down there, and he also had his Nintendo set up down there, so we would play Mario down there. And it was really fun. But yeah, this is the front porch, which I don't think we really went out there very often, to be honest, but I just wanted to make it pretty. And yeah. Don't know what else to say about this. Just putting some curtains on there. Okay, so now I'm adding some things to the house. I wanted to add the bikes because we did have our bikes there in this house. This is a little tidbit about me. I don't really know how to ride a bike. When I was growing up, I learned how to ride with training wheels, but I just never learned without training wheels, despite the fact that so many people in my family tried to teach me. I just fall over. Like even as an adult, like Max is trying to teach me, like I literally just topple over every time I try to ride a bike. And at this point, I think I've just accepted that I don't know how to ride a bike. Maybe I'll get around to learning someday because I realize that, you know, it's kind of a basic thing that I should be able to do. But yeah, I can remember like I can remember like trying to ride around the streets of this neighborhood with my mom and my stepdad trying to teach me how to ride a bike. But yeah, it didn't go very well. But this room was like the living room that we spent more time in than the other one. This is where we would watch movies. I remember my mom would make me a cup of chai tea, and she would put sugar in it and milk in it, and it was so good. And we would sit there and we would have like marathons of movies. And I remember we would have like a Jennifer Lopez night or like a Gwyneth Paltrow night, and we would watch so many movies. Like I remember sitting in that living room. I remember where I was sitting when we watched the Titanic for the first time, and I remember being just crushed. And oh my gosh, like so many movies that my mom grew up loving, she like showed me, and I have so many memories of fun movie nights in that living room. And also like important historical things. I remember sitting in that living room when we watched Obama's inauguration, and my mom just like tears of joy and just sitting there watching that historic thing. So yeah, lots of big memories in this house. So that's the upstairs. Kind of jumping around a little bit. You'll notice that the carpet is neutral in every room except for mine. So it was just like that when we moved in. I don't know why my room was the only one that still had the ugly blue carpeting, but I feel like we made it work in the room. Like it was cute. We kind of went with it. And it was so sweet because when Jubal, my stepdad, first bought this house, he just bought it for himself as a single person. And so he was using that room kind of as storage for some of his things. But then of course, like when he and my mom got together, we moved in, and then it was just kind of funny because he had like all these things stored in there, and he, had to just figure out a different place because I totally took over this room. But yeah, they let me totally redecorate it, and it was really fun. I really liked this room. And I do feel like comes together in a way that really looks like that room. I loved that little window area with the little window seat. Yeah. I rearranged this room all the time. That was something I like used to love to do. And so I just kind of picked a way that I had it to set it up, but I had it all different sorts of ways. Like I had that bed in so many different locations in that room. But yeah, I can remember getting ready for school in that room and watching, I would put on the MTV music video, like they would do the top 10 or whatever. And yeah, I remember watching that while getting ready for school in the morning. That was fun. I had my computer there, and I remember I was really into like Webkins. I would play Webkins on that computer, and I would do Club Penguin. That was a big thing. Oh my God. I kind of forgot about that. And of course, I would also play Sims. I was obsessed with playing Sims in this house, which is kind of funny. But it was like The Sims 2, and towards the end of us living there, The Sims 3. Yeah, just adding some posters there and some clutter. And I did have a closet in this room. I'm not a huge fan of including closets in the game just because I feel like they take up a lot of space and it's not necessarily usable in gameplay. So I don't usually include closets, but I did have a closet like on that far wall. And this is Jubal's office that I'm setting up here. Yeah, I kept it pretty simple. Yeah, sorry to go silent. But yeah, I kept it pretty simple. I feel like this is similar to how he had it. I'm sure he has a better memory of it than I do. And this is my parents' room. Oh, okay. My big memory from this room is I remember I was in here with my mom and we were watching the MTV Music Awards, and it was the one where Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift's speech. And I remember sitting there with my mom and we were like, oh my God, what just happened? And that was like a huge thing. I feel like this is their bathroom, and I feel like this turned out probably way bigger than it was just because of the proportions of the house. And their bedroom did kind of turn out being like a funky shape. But I mean, I feel like I was really worried about making sure the outside looked correct. So I was willing to kind of let that go a little bit. But yeah, I love the way you can see the light reflection off the floor. That just makes me so happy. Yeah, just adding some window treatments, and then that other room is going to be the other bathroom, which was my bathroom. Oh my gosh, I feel like I didn't even talk about. So the other thing other than the bright blue carpet that was kind of like quirky about this house was that bright orange countertop in the downstairs bathroom, which that was already there when we moved in. But it was like, I couldn't believe that they had it in The Sims, that I could, you know, recreate it, because the countertop truly was that bright orange color. And I was like, oh my God, I have to include this because it was very bright. And we did have a mirror right there, which, you know, we'd always check our outfits before we went downstairs. Okay, so now I'm doing the outside, and I put a little fire pit over in that area. I'm doing a little bit of the landscaping. I'm still not super good at landscaping. I feel like it's like I don't have the attention span for it, because it's like you have to have, it's very tedious. But maybe I'll get better at it eventually. But I don't like to leave it totally plain, but I like to add a little something. There's still that weird glitch, which I have found out that's not just me, that terrain glitch when you're trying to put terrain under a plant. It does that to people. And I was glad it wasn't just me, because I was like, what's going on? But yeah, I wanted to add that little like dirt on the side of the driveway. I couldn't do it on the other side of the driveway because the lot ended. But yeah, putting some more bushes in the front. So yeah, I mean, I didn't do nothing with the landscaping, but I don't think it's like stellar landscaping. Oh, that was Sim middle school me that you saw. So I think you saw older Sim me in some of the other builds, but I made like my actual family, which, okay, here we are getting into that part. This is me doing my mom, I think. I just took that original Sim of myself and like aged her up and changed it a little bit to look more like my mom. My mom and I look a lot alike. So yeah, picked out her hair. Yeah, and for our formal clothes, I put us all in like the wedding clothes that we wore when they got married. So I put my mom in like a wedding dress and me in something that looks similar to the bridesmaids dresses. I was my mom's maid of honor. And that was really fun too, because obviously that was like the big thing that happened when we lived there, was that, you know, they got married. And okay, so this is my mom's everyday outfit, which that totally looks like something that she would wear. And I'm just getting a little necklace here, and it cracks me up, like the automatic outfits that they go in. And yeah, so this is my mom's like wedding outfit. I think I got her a necklace here. Yeah. Oh, she looked so pretty on her wedding day. It was beautiful. Yeah, and then I'm getting her little like athletic. I love the new sneakers. I love all the new clothes that we've gotten with university. I feel like I was just really excited to see that. I feel like they look really realistic. I feel like with some packs you get some, like with the Moschino stuff pack, we got so many clothes that I'm like, I will never have my Sims wear that probably ever. Yeah. Oh, and for like the party looks, so Jubal used to be the drummer in a band, and my mom would go like watch them play, and she would get like all cute in her little outfit. So I put her in something that I thought that she would go watch the band play in, which was fun. And then this is her just like warm weather outfit. Yeah, and there she is. And for her personality, I made her aspiration to be a super parent, and her traits are cheerful, neat, and family oriented, which I feel like was her. Okay, so this is middle school me. I have on a lot more eyeliner than I wear now. I used to be like very into like the smoky eye. It was hard for me to find like, not bell bottoms, but just like boot cut jeans. I think I end up going with these ones, or maybe I end up those ones. Those are the ones I go with. Because I was like, none of these are as like dated, because I mean, I feel like towards the end of the time that we were living there, I was definitely wearing skinny jeans, but at first, like, the skinny jeans weren't the thing to wear. You wore jeans like this. And yeah, so I am changing here into more like what I wore to the wedding. That hairstyle looks very similar to the way my hair was at the wedding. And yeah, that color is similar to the bridesmaids dresses. And I put myself for athletic. I did like a basketball outfit because I did play basketball. Like I said, not well, but I did play basketball in middle school. So I thought that was kind of accurate. And just pajamas. I think those are actually like scrub bottoms, like for the veterinarian career, but I think they work as pajama pants. I think they're cute. Yeah, it was weird going from, because to get this sim, I took the sim that I created of like my present day self and just like aged her down into a teenager. So all the outfits that she was wearing are outfits that like I would pick now. And so it was funny to go take those all away and put in outfits that I would have picked like in middle school. So it's funny. Oh yeah, totally, those sunglasses were way more my style back then. Okay, so this is me making Jubal. To be honest, I don't think that he looks as close to his real self as my mom and I do probably, but I did my best. I really struggled with his nose. As you can see, I went through a lot of different options. But I think I got his general vibe, which is basically my goal for this whole challenge. I feel like I struggled to get his hair too, because he doesn't have long hair anymore, but when we lived in this house, he did have like longer hair. And so that's the one I ended up going with. And I was like, that's kind of close. But once I got his glasses on him, I was like, that looks kind of similar to him, I guess. Oh, and I tried to make it look like he was wearing Pirates gear for, like, I think for his athletic and also his party and also his warm weather, because that's what he likes to wear a lot of. Oh, okay, so this is my family. We're playing a video game. I decided to pretend that it would be like Mario, but the controllers wouldn't actually look like that on his old Nintendo. Oh, and this I was excited about because this is me playing The Sims on The Sims in my room. Oh, and this is me playing guitar. I did play guitar in this house. I took lessons and I did some practicing in here. And this is me reading Twilight in the sunroom, like I was talking about. Oh, and this is Jubal trying to teach me how to play basketball. And when I showed him this, he was like, "Can you make it so I make the basket?" And I was like, "No." This is my mom cooking us dinner here. Oh yeah, and she did cut herself, which that's really realistic too, because my family is really clumsy, and so we do tend to do things like that a lot. This is us just eating dinner in the little dining room area. That cracks me up. It's literally just a salad, and the Sim like smells it. Oh, and this is the fire pit area. We're roasting marshmallows, which we did have something like that in the backyard. So yeah, that is everything. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.